The next step in your final painting is to start on any drapery or any fabric, tablecloths or towels or anything that you've got in the background that have patterns and things like that as well. So I've done the background here, that was my first demo, so I'm now going to show you how to do this. Now, the best way to do a patterned fabric is to block it all in first with the gouache paints. And now, as I've said before, when you've got the gouache, you can build light on top of dark very easily with gouache paints. And if you're very careful, if we paint this in here red, and we do maybe different shades and tones of red, but then I'll be able to paint the yellowy orange on top very easily, because light on top of dark works very well with gouache as long as you don't use too much water. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to block this area. I'm just going to work on this area of the fabric, and I'm going to block that all in red. And then you can also see behind the leaf that's in the picture here, it's quite a dark red in there. So I'm going to make that a darker tone of red. Block that in, leave it to dry, and then once it's dry, I'll come back and I'll paint the patterns on top. I have put out a range of colours. I've put out a kind of dark red, an orangey red, yellow to make it lighter, purple to make the red a wee bit darker, and I've got a wee bit of white as well. Again, tiny, small amounts of paint. So I'm going to start using my smaller brushes. I've got these two small brushes, you've all got these. I'm going to start using these brushes, and I'm only going to focus on this one part here. So here we go. And we start off with my orangey red. I'm going to mix a wee bit of yellow in with it, because remember, we don't want to have any pure colours. And a bit of the red in it as well. So that's the undercoat to the drapery started. I've blocked it in. There's some darker areas and lighter areas. I'm going to wait for half an hour to allow that to dry, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to start painting some of the pattern that's on the drapery. So the paint for the background drapery has dried, and what I've done is I've put out some yellow for the yellow stripes that are here. I've put out some purple and blue for this area, and I'll make some pink for this bit down here. And if you want to, if you feel you need to, you could redraw back in using your pencil the patterns. But what I would strongly suggest is that you look very carefully at how the pattern curves. So it's not a straight line that you're painting. If you see here, it dips round and then curves back up again. And it's important that you follow those curves, because that's what makes your drapery look more three-dimensional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with start at the bottom down here, and I'm going to start with my yellow stripes. I've got my yellow paint here that I'm mixing. I'm going to put a wee bit of white in with it as well. And then I might also put some of the bright red. I'm just going to look for some of the bright reddy orangey red, so that it's not too lemony yellow, because it's more of an orangey yellow than a lemony yellow. And I'm going to start painting these, and just every time you're painting a section, just take your time, look carefully at what direction the lines go in. My advice is take your time, don't use too much water, because the water will make the paint below bleed and mix in, so you want to use as minimal amount of water as you can, and start to paint your patterns on top. And also what's important is when you're painting your patterns on top, that you do have your tone and shading as well. The tone and shading within the patterns, wherever it's dark and light, do that as well, and that'll make it look more three-dimensional.